Welcome to the Strenuous Life Radio, the podcast for entrepreneurs, men and women learn the essentials and the human skills of the strenuous life. Hello, everybody. Episode SP6, Property Dispute. You're probably thinking, Jimmy, why are you entering in a property dispute from your divorce to talk about this? I mean, why does it fit into the story of the strenuous pattern? I know that sounds kind of strange for y'all. You'll probably think that I flipped my lid and lost it. But I'm gonna tell you what I think. It was the struggle from April of 1999 to July of 1999 that made all the difference. The issue over the division of property was a tough one. And it wasn't that Chris and I were fighting. But it was more on her part. Delay after delay after delay. Now, the funny thing is, she wanted that divorce lickety-split ASAP. I remember when I received an email from my ex-mother-in-law in June, said, hey, you need to sign the divorce papers so she can get on with her life. Needless to say, thanks to the help of Brad and everything, I had gotten connected to legal aid, and the lawyer I had in Arlington was like, hey, spell it out. What do you get? Okay. July 6th. Okay. Well, I'm hanging out with Jim Bob and everything. Mama and Daddy had gone to Arlington to claim my stuff out of storage. The storage people were trying to say that I couldn't have them. They were going to auction everything off. But that included some equipment that the state had given me. And so Mama said, you want the state all over you? She said, look, I don't care who owes you what. Give him his property. Now, actually, there was the 5th of July, actually, that happened. The 6th of July, my friends gathered, well, mainly Brad and Jim Bob gathered together for a little housewarming party with my family. And I was unwrapping the stuff from the property dispute. And I felt like I found gems. My family, on the other hand, was like, oh, you got cheated. She got the better end of the deal. That just isn't fair. But that's not the way I saw it. You want to know why? Because I found some of the tapes from some of the network marketing conventions that she and I had attended. And my bedroom had this huge walk-in closet, and I put the tapes in the back. And Brad was bugging me. Hey, Jimmy, throw them away. They're worthless. I said, don't tell me what is worthless. And this would be a bone of contention between me and Brad. Really, for half a year. Because what did I find? A gem. A diamond mine called personal development. That was the beginning of finding an identity that was stripped away by my divorce. I think Brad was going to accept what's what, because he was holding on to the hope that Chris and I were going to get together, that we were going to get back together. But by mid-July, it was beginning to sink in. Why? Because I got the final divorce decree, or the preparation documents. And yeah, I had to sign those. Non-negotiable. And I did. And I got them sent. And you may think, well, Jimmy, why are you saying that a property dispute brought you that interview? This is going to lead into some episodes, and the next episode, but I'll go ahead and tell you. I was interested in the business voicemail that my ex-wife and I shared together. She changed the message on the voicemail, stating that it was her business and her business alone. And you talk about just a hit in the gut. I mean, Jim Bob and his family could tell that back in April, the beginning of the property dispute, that I was having trouble wanting to face the world again. And of course, and this won't be mentioned until later on, the property dispute wasn't all that was going on in my life. I had a more serious personal trial, if that tells you something. And you're probably like, well, Jimmy, what the heck, man? I mean, I can't imagine why are you being this way? Why are you talking about things this way? Because that July afternoon, when we unloaded all my stuff at the house, as far as boxes, while certain people were complaining that he was being gypped, I didn't see it that way. I saw it as rebuilding my identity. And so you're probably thinking, like, why? Why is it like that? Because a lot of stuff I ended up in the property dispute was stuff that she didn't even want. When we moved to our apartment in Arlington, she wouldn't authorize the unpacking of hardly any boxes. And her grandmother was like, no, come on, honey, you're going nuts. These boxes need unpacked. Get Jenny to unpack them. So, during the marriage, while she was out gallivanting among her friends and stuff, I started unpacking some of those boxes. And she got mad, and she said, why the heck you doing that? Because it's still my house. I have a right to do that. Still, she wouldn't unpack some of those boxes. Well, in some of those boxes were gems that I ended up in the property dispute because she wouldn't claim. You know the little small tale about the puppy who fought his reflection in the pond and lost his bone? Greedy makes a hungry puppy. The same thing was going on with her. And I wasn't angry with her like everybody else. No. I'm still not angry with her. I feel sad for her. Because here's the thing. To live a strenuous life, in many ways, you have to find the identity for yourself. Now, to some people, I know that sounds kind of foreign. It sounds crazy. You don't want to think about it. But why not? That is the strenuous life in its encapsulation. We choose how to live it in accordance to the patterns that God's given us. That's why I came up with that series, the strenuous pattern. Now, I know the property dispute episode sounds like a side note to you guys. Because we were talking about the building up to find the identity and the feeling lost. Well, the feeling lost, I'm gonna be honest with you, it doesn't end. I mean, let's face it. The next episode, Canning the Force, is going to begin with the idea of a search for justice and the ethical way of doing business. And then the strenuous line, okay, that's 2 episodes from now. That is where the identity puzzle begins. And then, of course, SP8 is defining moments. And of course, by a week from today, we're going to be doing like a little a series on justice, with maybe one break in between, or no, a couple of breaks, because sadly, so much of finding my identity from 1999 to 2001 was a search for justice. Because between August of 1998 and February of 1999, I was a victim of violent crime. And just when I thought that maybe my ex-wife would want to hold things together, she decides it's over. And so, some people could say, well, Jimmy, why aren't you mad at her? Why should I be? She did me a favor in helping me form my identity. Because her identity depended so much around pleasing the people in her life. And when she couldn't do that, she got angry and went after pleasing herself. And I didn't want to get there. I didn't want to get there. That's the doctrine of ignoble ease. Oh, she said that she had a dream. But I just don't think that she really had the ability to move beyond ignoble ease and to live a good life with identity. I wanted us to have it together, and I thought we did. But when people think of in divorces as property disputes, well, it's always, she got the gold mine, I got the shaft. He got the gold mine, I got the shaft, or let's shaft him, let's shaft her. That wasn't my idea. The property dispute was one of those ironic justice searches to help me form my identity. You may think, well, Jimmy, why? What's the deal with that? Because after seeing some of the criminal underworld in the inner cities in Arlington and having everything I knew in my marriage stripped away from me, I wanted justice. And so you see, a part of that justice was resolution of the property dispute. There were some things that I wanted, but in the end, it really didn't matter to me who gets what. I just wanted each of us to get our fair share. And yeah, people say, well, Jimmy, you should have gotten all the fancy dishes and all that stuff. You think I really cared about that? I didn't care about property. What I was crying out for was justice, identity. When some people go through a divorce, it's kind of like, well, let's just get what's mine. No. My first and foremost thing was, I want my marriage back. But if I can't get my marriage back, at least give me some way where I can have some justice and form my own identity. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but that's what I was searching for. And so you're going to hear, quite a few things. about the search for in this series, about the search for justice, and about the form of identity, the search for identity. You're going to hear about 2 cancer scares I had, and how friends like Keith and even Jim Bob were able to help me through some of this struggle. Brad? Nothing against Brad. He did what he could. But his idea during the property dispute is, I don't like this one little bit, and let's get Jimmy and Chris back together. And this would go on from February of 1999 until February of 2000. And that's when friends said, Brad, give it a rest, get a grip. Jimmy and Chris are not getting back together. But of course, I'm not going to go through all the details about that now. Once I had gotten what I wanted from the property dispute, and the final decree papers had reached my desk, I was like, okay, there's a huge chance she's not coming back. And I have begun reading, in February of 99, I began reading the New King James Bible with hope she'd come back. And that I could prove to her, hey, baby, I've changed. I swear to you, I've changed. Not the same guy that you know. But by July, I was like, why am I trying to please her? Because this ain't working. This ain't working. This is crazy. This is stupid. Yeah. There were some of the things I wanted. I wanted the VCR we got for our wedding. I didn't get it. But what I got, in my view, is some things that are a lot more priceless. Praise the Lord, huh? You may say, but why is it that way? Because I could take some of the former identity and start rebuilding a new one. That's what I wanted. Of course, it took years for me to realize, hey, the former identity didn't get you jack squat. You need to make a new one. See, part of the doctrine of ignoble ease is to say, I want to get what's mine. Mine. I wasn't thinking, mine. I was thinking, I want some form of identity back, please. I want a sense of justice, please. I want a sense of strength. And the thing is, even though what I won in the property dispute was a brief ray of hope, far be it for me to say that was the the full quest for an identity. No. No. It's a long way to go. It was an arduous journey. And why? Because I had to get a chance of moving beyond the lawyer and all the crazy stuff with the dispute. Hey. And signing the papers. And, some people thought, well, Jimmy, you have to go to Arlington to fight for what's yours. Like, one of the things was, Karen and Brad were kind of like, I want to go, you have to go to Arlington to fight for what's yours. Get her back. And the good news was my friend Jim Bob was a voice of reason. He's like, I know we all want that. But look at Jimmy. His health has been broken down from the 9 months he's been there. You guys are being unreasonable. And that's what I told him. I said, look, I don't want to go back through that again. I just want a new sense of identity. I couldn't fight for something that was long gone. I wanted to. I dearly wanted to. I wanted to save my marriage. I hate divorce. But it was becoming more and more apparent that I couldn't. And so, thus began the long search for an identity. And oftentimes feeling the feelings of lonely, not free. Now, as you'll see over the course of the month, that would change. That would change. Just so you know. But I know to some of you guys, it's hard to believe that you would think that winning a certain share in a property dispute from a divorce would have anything to do with helping you find your identity. It was because there were personal development tapes that she didn't want to have anything to do with. There were boxes of good stuff that she didn't want to unpack. And you know what? So I didn't get the things the family thought I should have gotten. But I still say that I got the better end of the deal. I got the better end of the deal. And I know that sounds kind of strange. But you know what? It's every bit worth it. If you're willing to listen and try to understand. That property dispute caused a lot of angst and anger and sadness. And when it was resolved, when my parents were able to get everything back from Arlington, back to where I was in Odessa, I felt relieved that a huge struggle in my life was over. And I could begin to pick up the pieces. You know? That's what I wanted to do. There was no guarantees I could get my ex-wife back. Oh, I wanted it. I wanted it really bad. But, in marriage, we know that it depends on two people to make it work. And like I said, me getting the things I felt like that were good from the property dispute, I'm not saying that it solved everything. That would be outlandish. I still had to search for my own identity. I was entering a frontier of searching. Brad, who I think at one time would have been glad to help me in that frontier, became a block to my progression. Now, Jim Bob, however, at times would become an immense help. He wasn't perfect. He really didn't help me totally, but he started some of the processes. Keith was the one that was the biggest help. It's like when I came to see him that December, he's like, hey, build a life without her. Form an identity without her, because you're so much better off. But back then, 1999, for the longest time, even for a while after my divorce was final, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see that. Sometimes I go back to my apartment after going to school, paralegal studies, and I would get angry and shake my fist and rail against the injustices, or sit there and cry and long for my ex-wife. But at least with what I got, my belief was a victory in that property dispute. That was the beginning of the search of an identity. And the line drawn in the sand where I could succeed. No doubt about it. But it was only the beginning. It wasn't an identity. It wasn't that total identity find. I still had to search for myself and scrape and claw. Those of you who have been through a divorce that in some ways was so gut-wrenching, you know very well what I'm talking about. But it began in the process of making me a wiser man. And perhaps realizing that I could form an identity outside the marriage. And so no doubt there's going to be some issues there. And I hope, I know that seems like a lot of rambling, but I think you guys will enjoy what I had to say. I know it seems strange. A property dispute had this resolution leads to identity finding, but it does. Hope you enjoy listening to the Strenuous Life Radio. If you'd like to hear, please subscribe, become a part of the Strenuous Life Radio family. Until next time, don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't so you can be what others won't. And do what others won't so you can have what others can't. And this is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, think strong, and live the strenuous life. God bless you. And remember this, from the bottom of my heart, Jimmy loves you. I really love you.